Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.co's daily brief. Let's go see the YouTube page. Yep, there it is, up and running. So that's good to go. And I see the YouTubers are over there too. The kids' table, I suppose we'll call it, but nonetheless, seems to work pretty well. I do see somebody just dropped out of the Hangout Lounge, so it looks like there's another seat that's open up if somebody wants to grab that. But we've got our resident bear. Oh, Bill came back in. Oh, Ed left. Watch it. It's funny watching people popping in and out here. But we have our resident bear in the house this morning. Hopefully everybody had an opportunity to watch the Bitcoin and altcoin trading talk episode last night. I suppose we could probably show that tweet or whatever, but somebody's here. If you do join the Hangout, it's good practice just to throw yourself on mute. And then that way, if you fart or sneeze or something, it doesn't rock the boat. But anyway, welcome back to the show. So, yeah, we did a big, long summary of Bitcoin last night. You can go back and watch when I was talking with the boys about structure and higher time frames and then lower time frame El Tangonator setups. It was actually really cool in the BAT episode last night to talk about this El Tangonator setup. And you can see it's just working away, doing its thing. Really, had you taken this setup, other than maybe moving your stop to scratch, which I think is not a bad idea if you have a fairly substantial winning trade. There's an old adage. Somebody in the lounge this morning was asking, there's an old adage in trading. You really should never let a winner turn into a loser. But nonetheless, over the short term here, if they keep in mind prices moving quite violently here over the short term. So could we even come back and get a nice test of these lows here over the short term? Sure. I mean, this is a market. It can do any old damn thing it wants. But those people that did take these long setups here, frankly speaking, I would think that it's actually in your best interest just to let this trade work and see if you can get that target hit. So, I'm not going to expound too much on my Bitcoin sort of thinking right now. Like I said, you can watch the episode from last night when I think I did a good 20-minute presentation or so. I think, for those that are day trading, here's another. This was the El Tangonator, the RSI model set up long signal from yesterday. And again, you can see it's just slowly working its way up into 50% target levels. This morning I had just grabbed a fib and threw it off of here, and I noticed that 38.2 would basically imply the market coming back against these lows here. And I think Thomas is going to talk to you about how he saw through the London kill zone last night. The market bottomed and pivoted higher. And I think he was mentioning in the lounge this morning that he saw those London boys exiting as they were finishing their session here. So over the short term, could I see a pullback here to 11,000 here on something like Stamp? Absolutely. That wouldn't shock me one bit. Do I have shorting signals? Brian himself, our momentum models here. I sure love these M's on the RSI. I don't, we do have a new peak here, so I don't have any M's outright to work with. If anything, the break of these uptrend lines here on this RSI model is going to do nothing more than just break this short-term up pattern versus actually give me an outright new shorting signal. So that's sort of what I'm thinking right now. We obviously had a big meltdown, dead cat bouncy kind of conversations into resistance levels. Aggressive traders, day traders, swing traders had signals fire. And even Julian, he was in there hunting longs yesterday, which I thought was very perfectly realistic. But at the same time, if we're, a little bit slower, a little bit more conservative, we're not trying to, grab, this is in trading land, we call this catching a falling knife, trying to actually pick bottoms here. Little bit difficult for new people to trading. I don't recommend it for new people to trading because it is extremely high anxiety, extremely stressful. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can blow up your account very quickly. I think probably also too, if we just draw a simple trend line analysis, it sure looks to me like we're caught in a nice little wedge here. Julian and I were even talking about some of the Bitcoin that we've been receiving in fees. That I think on balance, if you were thinking about lightening up some Bitcoin at the present, I'm looking for dead cat bounces into this trend line and this reload zone, which is probably going to set up my next shorting window, if you will. So that's sort of Brian's thoughts right at the moment. As I said, we've got Thomas in the house. He's got a really fun little Mo even put together. I don't know whether, we ran into problems before because the audio just sort of kicks out here. Okay, people are saying, Will Doherty over there on YouTube, can you watch? Can you see Thomas's bear growling here? Somebody over on YouTube, Tom, I see you're over on YouTube. Can you see Thomas's bear growling here? Please let me know. We have a delay on YouTube, so we've got to wait. Tick, tick, tick. Hey, Will says yes. All right, so I have put our resident bear's screen on the screen. Would you like to come off mute and say good morning to the good people, Mr. Thomas?
Hello, everybody.
Howdy. There's that. I love his voice. Tom's got such a nice melodic voice. It's very nice to listen to. What do you think, YouTubers? Can you hear Thomas? Is he coming in loud and clear? Do you? Oh, should I click on your chart that you just posted in the lounge? Is that what you want me doing here?
You can click. I think for the Hangouts, people can't see my screen. If in the Hangouts you click on my screen at the bottom there, I'm the only one screen sharing.
Yeah, there should be. I have put the box, the white box, over Thomas. And what you just want to do is just click on Thomas's screen, so there's a white box around him. We do see the copy to clipboard icon on your screen there, Thomas. So you're ready to talk. You might want to get rid of that.
All right. So let's
let's just check in with the YouTubers. Give me 10 seconds here, Thomas. Just make sure. YouTubers, can you see Thomas's charts? Please let me know. And of course, Google may just go and sandbag us here, but we'll keep trying, working away on this, get it right. Okay, so Jay says 10-5. 10-5. What does that mean? Now, yes. Okay, so Thomas, I'll shut the hell up. Go.
All righty. Here we've got this morning's picnic basket. In store for you is a tale of two barbecues here. We bottomed, well, we didn't really officially bottom yet, but we definitely had quite the sell-off over the last couple days. And on OK Futures, we hit the 9,500 handle, and we bounced pretty quickly off that level on the 4-hour chart here. Before I dive into this chart, I'm going to bring up something that I find fascinating, and I think the rest of the community, especially Brian, is going to find fascinating also. Yesterday, at approximately 4 p.m. Eastern time, the futures contracts on the CBOE, I believe, settled for the first time. When they launched, price was swimming around this area. Now, early last week, we got a commitment of traders report showing that the majority of Wall Street was short. Look what happened to the market since they launched the contract. And then if we dial down exactly into 4 o'clock, things started going higher into the close, from about the open of the session to the close of the session. I think what was happening all day was people were unwinding their positions before the contract settled.
Yeah, I didn't want to take delivery.
Maybe, I mean, they're not taking delivery of anything except paper, but I think what happened.
But the point is that there's fees and stuff involved in that settlement, right? And right. I mean, how many Bitcoins is it? The CBOE, it's like 5 Bitcoins or something?
I believe
so it's a bit of money that has to move around. If you can just go into the market and just quickly buy back your short position, boom, you're done. No, I don't have to worry about all that contract settlement shit.
Yeah, so I think Wall Street made a lot of money, both on the upside. They were buying the rumor where the CBOE was going to be launching. Once that came out, they started buying actual Bitcoins in mass, driving the price higher. And then they put on their short
out of it.
Yeah, they shorted the shit out of it. And they're probably buying the contracts here. They're making billions of dollars off this market right now. This is a haven playing field for everybody there right now. And they can do whatever they want. And we're seeing them push the market around now. So the moral of the story here is that this is just like any other market now. You've got the big boys, they're pushing things around just the same as they do elsewhere. So with that in mind, I made this last night.
I thought it was really cool. I'll just chime in here for a second. I noticed on that contract settlement that all of the futures now are all in line. I don't know whether you can see my screen. Previously the futures markets and the Chinese forwards markets were very disconnected. But now do you notice everybody is in tow here? I thought that was fascinating. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time to see all these contracts start to come in and seeing the real contracts and how they behave around pivots like contract settlement.
And actually this is cool because we've never really, in the 3 years that I've been doing this game with you guys, we've never really delved into the spreads, the rollover, like when I was at the prop firm, like Nebraska and Hogue would literally go, okay, time to roll your damn positions, roll, what the fuck are you doing, roll. Right, but you guys have no idea about that kind of world, and now Thomas is basically introducing you to the roll. So we have a whole new sort of set of variables to live with here.
Yeah, and I think, Brian, doesn't that manager usually say, don't you dare have a position into expiration?
That's right. And in actual fact, what we should probably be watching for is now what they call first notice date. So we should probably see pivots around those. And then, be notes to, in your journals, there's something probably none of you have ever heard before. When it comes to analyzing the futures markets, we want to watch the first notice date and the last oh geez, I can't remember. I think it's like last call date or something like that. I'll have to find the term. But anyway, there's very specific dates that we have to now start paying attention in the futures land. And actually, the commitments of traders reports coming out the other side will be really interesting to see this Tuesday now that we have a contract actually expired.
Yeah, and I think now that we saw where Wall Street was prior to expiration and the market went that way, that information is extremely powerful.
Yeah, interesting too. And I noticed this on sort of like the daily charts that all they did was they just simply brought the market down. I don't know whether you can see my screen or not. But all they did was they just brought the market down into this traffic area. We've talked about this previously, guys. If we lose key levels, your job is to look left. And you can see that this was the last key sort of somebody wanted to dump and somebody came in and said, no, you don't go down, you go up. So if we were going to dump, this is the area right here, this low right here. What is that? That's 9 G's right on the nose. Huh, interesting. That is the area that's really significant. And sure enough, right into that level. And somebody said, get your ass out of there. So I noticed on Thomas's chart when he was presenting that right there, if you look at the OKCoin contracts, wow, that is a huge battle level. Can we see your chart again, Thomas?
Sure.
Sorry, I interrupted you again. So if you look left, whoops, can you just zoom over to the left there a little bit? You notice, look at that traffic area, and you've even drawn a horizontal line right off of that huge battle zone right in there.
So that's the original breakout for this bull market here. That was
Isn't that incredible? Isn't that fucking incredible?
It's awesome. And it lines up with Mountain Man.
Yeah.
And we just doink and bounce right off.
Yeah. Yeah. So now the problem here is, think market symmetry. You see the previous high before that little bottom that Thomas has put in. Notice that we're sitting right around that level right now. So, this is going to be an important thing. We might just roll over here and then head right back down into the poop, right? So, all right, didn't mean to interrupt, but I just saw that and it jumped out and I wanted to mention it. All right, what do you think we should tell the good people next, Thomas?
Well, I think that we got to pay attention to the chart here and see where we go. Last night I drew this little scribbly scrobbly W here that I would have liked to have seen come in. And unfortunately, it seems like we're in a market of V bottoms right now, and pops for that matter, although a couple came in nicely, M's on the shorter term. So what can we expect is the most important question everyone wants to know. Thomas, tell me where the hell the market is going. Everyone wants to know.
I don't want to put their neck into that news.
I can't tell you that the market is definitely going to go down or the market's definitely going to go up. What I can tell you is the levels to watch for. And my personal opinion, that is not trading advice, is that
we should probably any regulators watching this, because we have a hell of a lot of members here. It wouldn't surprise me if we have a couple FBI people in here now. Please understand, everybody listening, we are not giving you investment advice here. If you want to, then please consult a financial advisor for appropriateness for your personal situation. These are all our opinions, and we trade our opinions. Nobody here is giving you financial advice. All right. Sorry, Thomas. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Nope, the necessary disclaimer. So here we go. We've got ourselves kind of ratcheting higher on the 4-hour chart. I'm going to zoom in here because number one on my tale of two barbecues is attempting to be resolved right now, where we have just this simple range that I took, where we have the original fail that led to this real decline here. And we're just toying around with that right now. There's no direction given. We are playing around not only with that level, but the 13 EMA. And also this red line represents the previous low from this massive sell-off back at the end of December.
That's a big structural level, right? A lot of people on higher time frame charts are going to look at that level and just say, you got to be short from that level.
Right. So that's a area which was once support is now acting as resistance. And in my opinion, I think resolution of that line with a market structure bottom would indicate that we have bottomed, but we don't see that yet. I don't think that anyone can take a trade at this level on a higher time frame if you want to set something and just let it ride for a few weeks or whatever. That's not here yet. If you're like me and you're a crazy idiot who trades on the OKCoin futures, you're going to be playing on the 30-minute, the 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, and sometimes even the 5. And you're not going to hold a position much more than a few hours to a day at most.
Right.
The last time I held a position for a day was a couple weeks ago. But the point being is that this level is not tradable on a higher time frame. You got to see structure come in here. And if we do see a W come in, I mean, there's a lot of movement that could come in here. But the problem is that this area of the volume profile is very, very weak. There's not a nice distribution here like we see in the middle here. Do you see how we spent a lot of time around this blue line, which was the 15,250 level that I was highlighting, a couple weeks ago, and the profile filled out nicely. It's not that nice looking. You want to see a nice pyramid. Brian's gone over that before. And
that's an excellent observation, though, Thomas. Very, very good observation.
So I think we're going to spend some time down here. If we do manage to get back up into this area, the 15,350 or 15,250 level, I'd be shocked if we kept going higher. There's a lot of overhead resistance here. You've got to get past, first of all, the second barbecue level, which is the real range that you want to watch out for and draw your Fibonacci levels from. You've got this high at 22,600 to the low of 95.32, and the real Ray barbecue what do I want to do? Do I want to go higher or lower? Is sitting at 14.5.
That's a good level. Everybody should write that down. Right, that's a really good level.
That's the most important level here.
And I think I've been, for whatever it's worth, everybody, we're trying to, we as a business take in Bitcoins, and I've been even counseling Julian that not a good idea to panic and, totally, just, FOMO sell. If anything, you probably want to wait for the dead cat bounce. And so the dead cat is bouncing now. And if you wanted, you see that 200 period moving average on Thomas's chart here. That's probably sort of your mean. And the problem with that is you can see that the slope of that moving average is turning down now. So the trend is slowly rolling over here.
Yes. So what I would expect here is a little bit of sideways. I think it's really hard to tell one direction or another here, especially with what Wall Street did yesterday. I mean, could they be buying and we could just shoot higher? Sure, but look down below here.
Just a second. Will is saying, I only see Coinigy figure. How are we seeing? Are we all seeing Thomas's chart here? How about you guys over on YouTube? Are you seeing Thomas's chart? We're good? Okay, so it's just that one gentleman. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Thomas.
No, we've got to make sure everyone sees what the tale of two barbecues story.
So, what, do you got chicken on one barbecue and hamburgers and hot dogs on the other? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, maybe some vegetables, some corn, lobster, maybe.
Ooh, lobster. Damn, I want to go to that barbecue.
Have a crazy barbecue. But if this resolves higher from this real crucial level, 14.5, the problem is you have to look higher, and the reload zone is between 20,000 and 16,000. So you have to worry almost this entire way up. And the market's put in all these levels just as checks. Do I want to keep going higher? Do I want to go past 38.2? Do I want to go past the RLZ reload zone? And then do I want to make new highs? And not only is the profile below anemic and not filled out properly, but the profile above is just as anemic. So we could spend just as much time as we did below as we could above.
Yeah. In fact, do you see? I see Mr. Hogue is very interested in these levels, because what would it imply if we actually accept at these levels? And you keep changing your chart resolution, so I'm not quite sure. It's interesting though. It is basically staying relatively the same. But does everybody see Hogue's 80% rule potentially coming in? Well, I think probably for this volume distribution, let's study off of that pivot breakout that you talked about, because that's really where Wall Street started to ramp this thing up, right?
Yeah.
So the distribution off of that breakout, the point that I would just make is you can see where value is. Yeah, Thomas could even put a little heart right up in Muwak, right up in that little valley right there. Kind of like what he said a moment ago. It's going to take some time here, guys, for the profile to fill itself out. If we can accept above this little level that we're at right now and go into that little notch that Thomas is highlighting there with the Muwak, then technically we could have an 80% play for him here. And, given the sentiment that we heard from everybody yesterday, it seems perfectly logical that they're going to rally this thing right back up. Everybody and their brother was basically right. Did you guys see CNBC? They're actually fighting now, which is hilarious. They're actually fighting amongst each other on this set.
Yeah, maybe the agenda here was to just knock it down for the guys who are afraid of buying real Bitcoin to get long the contracts. That could have been.
Yeah, there's also that too, right? We have to think the other side of the equation, right? And of course, the interesting thing about this is it would be really cool to actually see like on balance. Then the problem is we have like 20 different exchanges and it's almost impossible to aggregate this data, but it would be really cool to actually see if people are actually selling Bitcoins. think on a side note, and we mentioned this last night, I don't think this correction in Bitcoin has anything to do with Bitcoin at all. That's the weird part about this.
Yeah, I agree. This if see the great thing from my perspective is that I've been with Brian for probably close to 3.5 years. Is it now, Brian? Almost 4?
It feels like about 10 or 20.
Yeah, doesn't it? We've gone through this stuff before. We've seen this market action.
You didn't
So-
like that one? That was a joke. You're supposed to laugh.
It was great. It does feel like 10 to 20 years. I mean, the markets that we've been through, it's just, it ages you. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that if you've gone through all 3 levels of the course, you start to see things develop in the broader market. You start to see the agendas. You start to see the levels. You start to see where the prices are almost determined to go. And it's almost like a chicken versus the egg thing here.
Yeah.
Is the news what drives the price, or was the price already set up that way and some story was planted? It all gets very conspiracy theory like. And I'm starting.
Remember I said that CFTC guy, my hands are tied. What the fuck did that mean?
You know? I mean, you just have to remember that the guys with money, they're going to be able to control the narrative any way they want, just like it happens in the presidential elections. When you have influence in the media and you have influence with people that can put out a story and information, it's going to move markets. And the whole idea of the SEC is to prevent those kinds of things from happening, but it's really impossible to prevent that. And in a market like this, when you have all kinds of crazy crap running rampant and there's no SEC regulation, like I said, it's like a party on Wall Street for this kind of stuff.
What do you think, the guy running the White House, do you think he's having a bit of fun in here?
Well, according to his health report, he's a little fat. So I don't know if he's fat on food or fat on cash from this Bitcoin deal he made behind the scenes.
I wonder. It's interesting. Somebody on YouTube just said, you know, that's funny. The chicken versus the egg problem. That's exactly what I journaled yesterday. So I love the fact that at least we're all sort of collectively thinking in the same direction. And that's great advice. Well, we're not going to use the word advice. That is great sort of sentiment thinking, opinion thinking. Yeah. Because in essence, you know, guys, at some point we have to separate ourselves. We have to step back. You know, when professional football players or TV personalities start coming into the space, you know that the trap is being laid. And so the question ultimately is, you know, and the interesting thing with regard to Bitcoin is I think that Bitcoin's pullback really has more to do with this BitConnect thing. Is that what it is? BitConnect? Anyway, the monstrous Ponzi scandal that's unwinding right now. Versus actually like Bitcoin itself being obsolete. And I have a funny feeling that scandal has actually exacerbated this situation a bit. The only question I really have about Bitcoin, and this is something that I really wanted to press Alex on last night, is what do we do about these, you know, backlog of, you know, hundreds of thousands of transactions and the miners basically holding the community a ransom to get your transaction done quickly. And it was interesting that we were talking about Mr. Ver. Alex and I went and had dinner last night. What I found fascinating was Alex was telling me that Mr. Ver, he actually has, I mean, there's so many different angles that this guy is playing this from. There's really interesting motivations why he did the BCC play to try and free up a lot of Bitcoin. That's sort of, you know, really, really small amounts of Bitcoin that because of the cost basis, you know, the transaction fee basis right now is basically useless. And then also too, Alex was conjecturing about how Mr. Ver has a bunch of interest in a whole bunch of these different altcoins. And so Alex believed that one way to, you know, sort of stir the pot a little bit for the altcoins, of course, is to inject some shit into Bitcoin story. So I think it's an excellent commentary on the fact that, we can look at the price chart, we can try and figure out sort of what the sentiment in the market is, but at the same time, we always have to be asking ourselves, if price is moving in one direction or another, whose purposes is this serving, right? There's always some sort of, like underlying, in the course we talk about the known fundamentals versus the unknown fundamentals. And sadly, a lot of times in markets move on unknown fundamentals, and then the world only finds out about the shit after the fact. So, yeah, it's a very, very good lesson and an excellent point that you make there, Thomas. Very good point.
Thank you.
All right. What do you think? We've been talking for about a half hour here. Anything else? Any altcoins that you're interested in right at the moment?
Altcoins. I really like
NXT. I heard you chat in the lounge about Litecoin. Did you do some stuff in Litecoin?
So I set a stink bid probably last week or something at $150 on GDAX. Let me see if I can find this chart there. And you were getting real jazzed about the bot, and I was so tempted to pull the freaking trigger to buy that thing up here, but I had set my level, and I had my reasons for $150 based on this tail. And holy shit, last night or yesterday rather, we hit my bid at 150 and kept going below it. I got a little nervous, but we ended up going a lot higher, so I'm already ahead $54 a coin.
Right on.
And that was a pretty friggin' awesome trade for me. As far as the future movement of this coin, I've kind of been noticing that it's front running the price of Bitcoin.
It does.
Playing around with a leading indicator, kind of like the spreads chart, with using Litecoin for really, really low time frame, predicting the moves in Bitcoin based on the lower time frame moves of Litecoin. I don't have any hard data yet.
Ricardo says, should we be looking at two screens? I don't quite understand the question, Ricardo. I have on Thomas's. I've clicked on his box. We're looking at his Litecoin chart. Are you guys over on YouTube seeing Thomas's Litecoin chart? I hope so. If Ricardo, you need some help, maybe somebody in the lounge can just help Ricardo out. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Thomas. I just want to make sure everybody's on board here.
No problem. So yeah, can you guys actually see the similarities between the Litecoin chart that I have on my screen? Make sure you take a look at the MACD here, the Willy, and the price structure.
That, your Cokehead, they're pretty bullish here. I've just been looking at your charts, and they're all very bullish.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more this sort of dead cat bounce kind of stuff, I think.
Yeah, the higher time frame that I use for the indicator is a little more accurate than this is. But anyway, take a look at this chart. Now I'm going to put the Bitcoin chart on. I mean, this is pretty crazy. This is very similar. And remember, this is OKCoin. And this is...
look at that. Oh, look at the notch up there. Can you see up there? What day is that? That is the 16th, it looks like. Look at that notch in the profile up there. Yeah, right there. You see that? There's like a hole right there in the profile there. A little lower, a little lower, a little lower, a little lower, a little lower. Yeah, right. Oh, yep, right there. Look at that notch. And then look at, we talk about the value play, right? You'll see that on the aggregate, that will be basically right at the top of value there, right? And then go back to your Litecoin chart. This is sick. I just noticed this. Hello. Do you see that notch?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? It's really interesting to put an aggregate on that chart. I don't know whether you can or not, but interesting how there's that big notch there on the 15th on Litecoin. So is that the 15th or 16th? I don't know.
Looks like it's the 15th. Yeah.
Similar levels, eh?
Exactly.
So it looks to me like your Litecoin's got a date with your 200 period moving average and to fill in that notch up there. I wouldn't. And also too, what might be happening here Do you see how if they put in a cute little top right here, I don't think that MACD divergence is confirmed yet. It's potential. It's there, but it's not confirmed. Do you notice how maybe they might be setting up a nice little liquidity pool here for some stops?
Sure looks like
a whole bunch of people get all bearish and short and shit, and then they go up and they just fill in that notch on Litecoin and Bitcoin, tag 200 period moving averages, and clean out all those stops.
Yeah, in fact, since we're riding the 13 EMA here, I liked shorting from this area, but now that first of all, this is a little glimpse into my trading. If we don't have price structure with a MACD divergence, I can't technically take this hourly trade because it means that they're setting the market up here. The internals look ripe for a short, but it's not there. If this turns into an M and rolls over, sure, I'll take that trade any day of the week. But this is the classic, almost opposite trade, where I would actually look to go long right now in this level. I'd probably set my long at 11,700 and look to go, I mean, where are my longer term fibs? Close to where Brian found that notch. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like a mountain man area or
50% rule.
50%. Yeah, there you go.
And I think, isn't that the target of the El Tangonator? I bet it is.
Yeah. So that's kind of the play. And we see that when price bounces. They like to get everyone thinking, oh, this is just a short-term bounce. Remember the psychology behind this. Remember that all these markets are moving in a way to manipulate you to take your money. So whichever way the price action looks the scariest, that's the way they want you to think. So right now it looks, oh my God, it's going to go all the way back down to 9,500. Look at this. It was going up and it's slowing down. And now there's this divergent. I got to go short. I'm going to lose everything. And people are probably hitting their shorts all day today. And maybe we just go higher. And all those guys, they either get stopped out or they start FOMO buying up here. And then they take the market down. You're on a roller coaster ride here. This is the best freaking roller coaster of your life. And your money's on the line.
Most people in the public just don't get that, right? You gotta, everybody listening, new members, you have to understand. You're getting involved in this space, you have to understand this is incredibly volatile shit. You're on one hell of a roller coaster ride here, people.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. And if you're not ready for this, you don't have your vomit bag ready, you're going to vomit all over yourself and you're going to lose all your money. And it's not going to be fun.
Yeah. And this is also a really good testament. If you go and look at the left-hand side of Thomas's screen and you see good old Ray Barbecue 38.2, 12,110.91. This is why I suggest to everybody, this isn't really the best trade location level. If anything, what we really have to do here is let this level resolve. We could very easily dip right back down to like 10,345, the reload zone right there. That's probably a half decent area to take long shots against those lows. But conversely, they might fuck around here and then rip the market up, run all those stops up into 13.5 to 14.5 area, fill in that notch, and that is a really good trade location level, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see this. This is almost like a no man's land right now. Be very careful about making decisions here, people. And I like the idea that Thomas said that, hey, if we're thinking about going short here, let's let some structure develop here just off the lower time frames. Me personally, I wouldn't have a trade here yet. There just isn't anything at this level that would interest me to do anything right here.
There you go. Most importantly, make no mistake, we are still in a bear trend. Most importantly, there is no long-term trend to take in this area of no man's land. So there you have it, folks. Yeah. The Bitcoin, Snapchat, and Tale of Two Barbecues story.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I think if anything, everybody should probably watch that probably half-hour presentation maybe 2 or 3 times today, because Thomas is giving you a lot of really good stuff to think about here. Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
And I did see. So, is there anything in altcoin land that you are buying?
I'm definitely wondering if we can go lower on all these names. I think that I've noticed, I don't have a good chart in front of me, that
Okay.
there were a lot of M's that were breached and kind of confirmed, but they didn't go lower. And that makes me a little concerned about all these markets here.
Mhm.
I don't know if we've seen the bottoms here, just like I don't know if we've seen the bottoms for Bitcoin. This is
Yeah.
just a nice bounce higher. Oh, this is the hourly chart. That's why. I'm like, why do these all look so different? So, I mean, new bits. I wish we could spend a lot of time talking about new bits, but we don't.
Has anybody got any plans for today? Because we're going to be here for the next 3 or 4 hours, guys.
This all. I did buy salt. I bought salt yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Um,
Oh, it's all white. Jeez.
that was
Is that an accident?
my- you
Is
see how
that a
dangerous
script
this
or
is?
something that sets your candles all white like that?
Yeah, that's a Nasco Jeremy special.
Oh, is that a good sign or a bad sign?
I think technically it means it's overbought or oversold.
Okay.
But anyway, the point here again is you see how this M is kind
Oversold.
of
Oh, Jay
staring.
says it's oversold. It's oversold.
Okay, excuse me. Sorry, Jeremy.
That's okay. Well, that's good. So if you're buying, then that's a good sign.
Yeah, so I bought here, but I'm really, I don't like the way these markets are setting up. I don't like how we've got this neckline sitting so close. And, if we go way higher and make a W, I'll feel a lot better. But this is kind of the whole, you're going to feel uncomfortable when you have a good trade situation. And I think that's where we're at here in altcoin land, is that everyone's probably feeling all good. They're getting their bids
Ooh,
filled,
look at that divergence. Jesus, that looks ugly.
right? See, that's scary. And I bought that freaking thing. So
Uh-oh.
I think it's,
Yeah.
you got to take your,
Joshua, I love Joshua's. In fact, somebody in the lounge this morning was kind of like, I don't know, do I really, is this the bottom? And I was like, you know what? If you're in doubt at all right now, my advice to you is let's all pay attention to Joshua. Right there's Joshua just hanging out in the lounge in his hangar, just cooling his jets, just waiting for half decent looking bottoms to come in. Do you really need to be a hero right now? I don't know. I don't think anybody really needs to be a hero.
and the problem is everyone's in a rush, right? Everyone's
Yeah.
like, oh, I missed the seasonal bottom or I missed the December buying opportunity. Everything flew up.
Yeah.
So you can feel the community almost missing out slightly, but still using material to try to get their entry so that it kind of makes sense with everything. But if you keep your little old lady trading strategy where you're buying at 78.6 or 88.6 or at the bottom of markets like I did here and your original breakout levels, you're going to do okay. And don't be like me where I got a little trigger happy, like for instance on salt. This could turn out to be a great buy, or it could turn out to be a massive failure, and we end up going down to the 78.6 level. We don't know. And I'm playing around with it. I've been trading for a while, guys. You guys that are new, don't chase. Don't be crazy. If you see these levels of these breakouts and it's in your trading plan that you can buy a mountain man or you can buy an original breakout that's not at the bottom, and you've had consistent success with that, great. Continue to do what you're doing. If it's working, don't change it. The point here and the message is this market's going to be really volatile for the next however long. It could be months. We don't know. Just be careful. Don't change everything up. And the message here is just keep doing what works. Do your little old lady strategy.
Well, and
So, for example, here's
if anything, this.
here's
Oh, I'm hearing wicked back here.
sorry.
That's okay. All right. Maybe I'll just let you finish. Any final thoughts, or are you done?
I just I'll just highlight this chart here. This is the dynamic coin. And I had bought this back in December, hit my double level, and look how prices back off again, and even made an M. So again, if Bitcoin market rolls over again,
Can't be eaten. No reason at all.
Right. So we could go higher, but look, I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of bearishness in the market, and that could just be from what happened yesterday. But
Kevin made it in here today, right? Like I always talk about this. It's a big cliche. I apologize, but I remember specifically Kevin and I sitting in the lounge, nobody interested in altcoins. Middle of February, just slowly. I mean, the charts look almost exactly the same, people, and we're just
yeah, and I
slowly just
worry.
hunting W's off of these charts. Just be patient, let them come in.
I just worry that we didn't destroy the public's confidence enough yesterday. Right? I mean, just think about it. Oh, this thing just rebounded a couple $1,000 overnight. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's normal. I'm a hodler," or however
Yeah.
everyone pronounces that.
Yeah, in fact, I've last night, and one bad sign about this space, and I want to be a cheerleader. I want to be like, we're all gonna get fucking rich, right? But we have to respect the fact that when the public comes in and they start doing things like, making music videos about buying the dip and shit like that, the public's still a little too long.
Yeah, I agree. And I
And
fear,
if we actually look at a lot of these charts, if you just take your chart there of core and you zoom in off of this current range, and you go back down to the lows, no, I would just even do off of this just low, the range, that fib there. What I think's happened with a lot of these coins is all we've done is just come back to sort of 50% rules, 38.2. So this one's come back a bit more. But have we actually like fully washed these markets out? I don't think so.
there's enough.
And if anything, and the point that I wanted to make here was this is where guys like Joshua with his his hunting gaps and stuff, like if you were interested in this core, I would pull that chart, maybe drill down to like a 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, whatever, and just start highlighting the gaps. Where are the gaps? Because that's probably where they're going to take these things right back to. Little out, yeah, down in that area, down in there. Are there any price gaps down there? Oh, I think I see one.
Yeah, there's a couple hanging out.
Somewhere in there, right around the 18th. There's some gaps in there. So, I mean, welcome to the market. And if anything, this is exactly the kind of shit that we strive on, right? Is as the public's going to be dumping and selling into these gaps, that's where we want to be, just working our bids. Yeah, right in there. Look at those. This is Swiss cheese right there. Yeah. No, that candle right there. Yeah, the next one. Anyway, you do your own due diligence. People like Joshua. Frankly speaking, this is one reason why I love this community is he was just like, yeah, okay, here's my spreadsheet, guys. Check it out. Tell me what you think. And I see a lot of people on his spreadsheet on a daily basis. And this is sort of like the 1 + 1 = 3 stuff that we do here, guys. So let's all work together. Let's all, as a community, be hunting these W's. And try and remember, you might be like, well, I don't want to share my W, but just try and remember that maybe a day you'll wake up and you can't find any W's, but somebody else in the lounge is like, hey guys, check this coin here. So let's all work together, and we all know what to look for. Great part about it is we got awesome people like Thomas. A lot of our veterans, Benjamin, Jeremy, that I can see. Kevin, I would consider him my veteran. I think I see. Is that Nils? Who is that? Oh, that's Ricardo. I thought Nils is around. Very, very smart guy in the Waves community. Let's work together, right? There's no hurry here. There isn't. A good buy is a good buy is a good buy. Let's all work together and just be patient and disciplined and just wait for them. They'll come in, and there'll be lots and lots of money for us all to make together, just like we did just over the past couple months. So, okay, that is basically the top of the hour. So I don't know. Maybe we should just leave it at that. That was an excellent presentation, Thomas. Is there anything in particular that anybody really wants me just to do a quick review on that we well, if anything, Wayne just mentions that pack. If anything, I would argue that when you start to see those kind of stories, and where do we have to go to just to see that chart? Because it's not on TradingView, is it? But whenever we see those kind of stories about, one sat and all that kind of shit, right? if anything, that's got to be a really good tell about the end of a bull market. It's got, and maybe journal that shit. Hell, Brian has to learn about that kind of crap, um, and remind himself. Excuse me, I get the hiccups here. But you can see when the community start interested in play coins that have like one sad trades. This is such a classic example of the end of the move, not the beginning of the move. Oh, look at that. Alex is already banging out trades here. What's Alex got for us here today? Thanks, Alex. EVOs. Hey, and you know what? Here's the great part about it, guys, is there's a bull market always somewhere. There's always a bull. Hey, there's my Sheila. Sheila was sending me messages overnight. I don't swear. What the hell are you talking about, Brian? I was just poking fun at you. So, and I thought it was hilarious. Shit. Everybody in the lounge, give a shout out to Sheila. She's such a sweetheart. I love her. She's the best. But anyway, really good example here that there's always a bull market somewhere, guys. And let's work together as a team to find these. And I got to tell you, Alex, this Alex guy, man, he is sharp as a tack. And I got a funny feeling if he wants to stick around, he'd be just an awesome addition to our hunting team. So way to go, Alex. Again, I've seen this guy. He's damn good at what he does. So way to go, Alex. Okay, so Pack, I mean, what do you say about this? It's a flyer. Don't throw a lot of fucking money at this kind of stuff, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes belly up and it just completely goes off the board. It wouldn't shock me. Let's put it that way. You want to go pick some up, and what's the offer now? Is it a gazillion offered now at 1? I can't even tell. What are the bids in the offers here? This doesn't even make any sense to me. So I'm not even quite sure how to interpret this data. I suppose we could go over and look at it. It's on Cryptopia, right? Let's go see. And actually, I'm surprised the Cryptopia account's done very well. I've actually been able to farm. Keep in mind, these are all the coins that are dead, that Bittrex says are worthless. And just over the past month, I've actually farmed about a half a Bitcoin out of these quote unquote dead coins. What the hell? I guess they're not that dead. So, and of course, guys like Kevin and stuff, they have a field day here on Cryptopia. But please, we say this repeatedly, do not market buy on Cryptopia. Don't do it. You're going to get screwed. If you want to buy on Cryptopia, you got to work your order at your level and be patient. Where is that Pack? I got it on here somewhere. I think I went and picked up like 0.05 of it just for kicks. Just having some fun here. Oh, I guess I have to go over here, right? And I like to consider like Cryptopia my garbage can. So it's just sort of my fun play account. All right, so let's see what they've done here. And I don't even know, how do you even interpret this data? It doesn't even make any sense at all. Now there's 800 and now it's 12. Geez, I'm jumping all over the place here. 1,800 Bitcoin now offered at 2. Where did the bid at 1 go? I mean, and I see they do this a lot on Cryptopia. And of course, you see no buy orders at all. And, just, now they threw that 1 back on there. I do have my order. I am part of these. And there's probably about, I wouldn't even be surprised if there's like at least a dozen TRIers that are all mixed up in this mess here. So if this thing does pop up to 3, and fill in this notch here on the DOM, anybody takes the level 3 program, you know what I'm talking about here. If it does, well, great. We all get free coins out of this, but I'm not holding my breath. It's more of just fun than anything else. And if you want a flyer and you got some Bitcoin just lying around, you feel like a fun adventure, go and take a little nibble, but don't bet the farm on this kind of stuff. This is the definition of shit coins, right? You're just having fun, seeing if you can clip the market, grab some free coin, and you never know what the hell is going to happen down the road. If I can get myself into a free position, if this thing trades at 2 and I get my fill, then I don't really care what happens down the road. If it runs, great. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Could they pump this thing up 1 sad? Well, look at that. Now the sell orders, there aren't even any sell orders below 4 now. What the fuck? Oh, now it's 1. You see how they're just screwing around with the order book here? I mean, this is a mess. So for heaven's sakes, don't go and and bet the farm on names like this. They're just kind of having fun. It's interesting here, eh? What the hell's going on? Now there's now there's a sell order at 2. And should I not have been filled here? Where did my sell order go? This might also be maybe a little bit of a commentary on the immaturity of this space. Something seems a little suspicious about the way this thing trades. So have some fun, Wayne, but for heaven's sakes, you do understand the context of this trade, right? Wayne? Of course, good. Okay, I don't know if there's anything really else I can add. I am going to be spending the next sort of week or two just slowly going through the book and just, it's interesting. People in the site mention Next here. Great example. The sad part about it is we know where the public bought, suckers. Now that they've come down, and it's really cool. You can see Next came right down into good old, what do we call him now? Leprechavark, right? Ian's 88.6, sick level. I wouldn't have a problem Nanny Nibbles. And you guys probably remember this repeatedly, right? Through the fall. Here's a great example. And God, you guys are you're going to get sick of this. You're going to hear it over and over and over and over. Here we go again. Nanny Nibbles are perfectly acceptable. We're waiting for divergences to confirm. Market is egregiously oversold, so I have no problem whatsoever nanny nibbling this. If you want to wait for your 3 reasons, it's interesting. Somebody even in the lounge this morning pointed out, hey, Brian, isn't this an inside bar reversal? Yes, it is. Right off of that level right there. I don't have a problem if you want to hunt setups, but at the same time, too, remember my caution about Kevin in February. I wouldn't be surprised at all whatsoever if we're just going to be swimming around here for a while. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. And then heading into next spring, well, next spring's coming up here pretty soon. Next summer, you want to see a kick in the pants, guys? I mean, seriously. I would not be surprised one bit, not one fucking bit, if sometime through the summer we tag this trend line. Say June, July. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Remember what we said at the beginning of our conversation here today with Thomas. This is an insanely volatile asset class. This is the cutting edge of venture capital. If you can force yourself to buy against low ends of ranges and just be nice and patient and disciplined, don't take too much risk so that you can't sleep at night kind of talk, I think there's more fortunes to be made here. But you just got to set yourself up to be able to be very comfortable to come in and just that's the whole reason why we built the Nanny Nibbles approach is you should be very comfortable just to go in. Okay, I'll go in and grab some of this. Looks good. And I'll look to think, sometime into the spring, summer, selling up here. Wouldn't surprise me at all. If you want to try and time your purchases a little better, Brian, I don't want to be in the trade forever. I want to, just rock and roll. Well, then we can start talking about location. Yeah, that's acceptable. But I really would like to see a nice structural divergence come in here where it's a nice, beautiful W. Right now we have the first half of it. Okay. Willie's stupid. That's great. So it means that the public is thrashed. But as you can see here, Willie can stay stupid for prolonged periods of time. This is not enough of a reason unto itself to justify pulling the trigger. And then also, too, what we'd really love to see is, can I please see some higher lows and higher highs from the bulls to actually show that there's people buying this thing? So, Nanny Nibbles, and there are going to be a lot of coins like this as we go through chart by chart by chart. They've come into location. If you want a nanny nibble, start buying, nibbling away like that EBST. I liked it so much. I just went and just grabbed a little bit right off of the tag of the shark level. And you can see, well, look, it looks like that trade's working well. Can you see how this is an inside bar, right? Same thing as next. If you are psychologically at the point where you can do this, great, go for it. I'm not betting the farm here. Do I have a pound the table? You got to load up on this thing? No, this is just nibbling. And again, same sort of conversation before. Could we spend maybe the next month or two just sort of swimming around here? Sure. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. At the same time, too, if you take these nibbles and the market does pop up, I think it's in your best interest to take some profits. You could maybe even be able to build multiple free positions just on maybe trading ranges being established, coming in at the bottom, letting them have half on the sell, half on a double kind of talk. And just you could build by time this thing actually gets going, that we have double bottoms and MACD divergences and impetus signals, blah, 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 blah. You could actually have like 3 or 4 times the position just based off of this one little capital pool that you've put to work. So, just be flexible, understand the context of the market, understand what we just went through, understand the context of the fact that we're sort of cleaning up after the party right now, and act appropriately here, people. We're not quite at the ready of pound the table. We got to go long, balls to margin long. We're not quite there yet. Let's just maybe just be calm. And let's let all of this stuff just bottom out nice and comfortably, and then we can get all jazzed about the big spring-summer rally we're expecting. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. Really great presentation from Thomas. Really appreciate the hard effort that he's put in. I think we're going to try and move forward with Thomas being a sort of regular contributor to these daily briefs. We've got the school. It seems to be up and running now. So all of you guys in the level 1 program, you should have your assignments and your marching orders. Level 2ers, we had our introductory class last Saturday. Level 3ers, we'll have our introductory class day after tomorrow. Let's all work together. Let's go hunt those W's. Let's find bullish divergences if you're thinking about buying. And let's go kick some ass in the market collectively as a group. So, all right, everybody, have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.